Acoustic Portrait is a high-end audio brand, but we also do a lot of recording of musicians and we work with musicians. Why would we do that? There are several reasons for it. Some of it is actually personal, some of it is related to the business, but one of the primary reason is it helps us develop better products, and that is what we'll try to explain today. And if we are a high-end brand, our primary objective is to recreate all the nuances and all the emotions that are there in a recorded media, right? It could be a movie, it could be a music, but we need to reproduce that, and whatever we reproduced should be of high quality. It should be, the term that we use is high fidelity, right? So given that as the challenge, the audio equipment design process would consist of two parts. The first part is the actual theory behind audio reproduction, right? So the theory would consist of the general acoustic reproduction. There are nuances about acoustic reproduction that we have to take care, but also at the end of the day, music is created by humans, and then the listeners are also human. So there's a human element to it. There's a lot of factors that we need to consider around that as well. So the general theory behind all of that must be well understood, and we need to make sure that we study that clearly, and then we consolidate our learning, and those learnings become requirements for our product. And that is what would differentiate a good product from another. So the more clarity we have about what the product should achieve, better the goals we have, better the products become. So the first part of audio equipment design is very important, and this is a part that is probably common across all products. We know we don't do it for every individual product, but something that we study in general. And but some of the products require some particular treatment based on the study, right? So an amplifier has to be treated separately, a DAC has to be treated separately during these kind of initial observation phase. So that's the first phase of product design. The second phase of the product design is the actual electronics, right? So if it's a loudspeaker, what drivers we use, what kind of cabinet, the crossover. If it's an amplifier, what kind of, do we use MOSFETs, do we use transistor, what kind of power supply? If it's a DAC, what's the kind of dynamic range, what's the kind of dynamic resolution? So that's the second technical part of the discussion, right? So there are two parts to an audio equipment design, and both are equally important to get the product right. Now, working with musicians helps us do a better job in the first phase of the product design, and that's what this is all about, right? So we work with musicians, we understand the various nuances that they are trying to create for the listener, the kind of perfection that they look for. One thing about musician is that any musician, even amateur musician, the perfection that they look for, and the shruti or the pitch of an instrument has to be perfect. And before singing, we recorded a young 14-year-old musician who's quite popular, a new generation kind of music. He recorded for 5 minutes, but then he warmed his voice for more than 20 or 25 minutes. And, in fact, I would say it's more than that, almost close to half an hour. And that's the level to which musicians go to, prepare for a musical presentation and present. And even if it's a movie, right? So they study what kind of a psychological impact that a track would have. This audio visual has a very deep impact on the audience, and that's a very powerful tool that movie directors use. So there's a lot of thought that goes into creating those soundtracks. So learning all that in a nuanced way, working closely with the team that creates, is very important, right? And that is what we learn working with them. So we understand the nuances and everything, all the details that we need to focus on. But one of the second learning that we didn't anticipate is the role that studio engineers themselves play, right? So studio engineers play a huge role. Capturing a musical performance or recording something is a challenging task. It's as much technical as it's creative, correct? So we learned a lot working with studio engineers and how they think and what kind of creative thought that they have, as to how end listeners should experience that creative product. So all of that has been a big learning, and all of that contributes to us defining better requirements for our product as part of the first phase of product design, and thereby enhancing our product. So we have, in fact, been able to greatly enhance our product over a period of time, and that clearly shows, right? So before we did this, we used to do something called a voicing in the past, where we used to generally rely on our experience listening to various equipment. Before we started Acoustic Portrait, we've lived in several countries and we've heard different products, and we also took help of a lot of fellow audiophiles to come and listen, and all of that was a process called voicing, and that was completely dependent on our opinion of what is good sound. But today, I think we have gone one step ahead. We are not limited to our knowledge. We have gained a lot of knowledge from working with a broader creative team. That, in fact, has made our product better, and it shows. If you have won the Best Sound Award at What IFA show in the last 2 shows we participated, I think we were able to make a good connection between the creative team, which is the musicians and the studio engineers, and the listener. And because we did that without Acoustic Portrait leaving a footprint in that experience, helped customers experience music better, and thereby, making our product, better. So that's really what we want to do. We call this the invisible engineering. The more Acoustic Portrait is out of picture, when a listener experiences the creative product, less Acoustic Portrait leaves a footprint, better we are doing our job. And that is what high fidelity should be all about. And this entire process has really helped us. And if you're in Bangalore, do drop in and listen to our products so you will understand what we are talking about. And happy listening, and enjoy your music, and do drop in a mail or visit us. Thank you.